Welcome, everyone, to the Radha Studios podcast. Back again here with Radha Rose. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Rabbit Hole?
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me on today, Nick and Victoria. Two of my best friends in the whole world. Truly. Oh, soulmates.
It's an honor.
Yeah. Let's see. So Rabbit Hole is definitely my second home. I'm either at my home hosting women's circles, new moon ceremonies, which I've been doing since 2019, or I'm here playing at like an open mic or playing at a festival. I recently did an ecstatic song circle at the Healing Arts Festival, which was really wonderful. It was lovely to have everyone drumming, rattling along, singing out their heart. I love doing that. That's the medicine I like to offer the community. I would say right now I'm mainly offering musical and ceremonial work. I've been doing new moon cacao ceremonies now at Let It Be Yoga, and I've been doing more performance opportunities here at the Rabbit Hole. And I'm so grateful for the space that you offer grassroots musicians like myself. I didn't actually discover my voice until a few years ago when I was starting to host circles, new moon circles, which were monthly events, and I still do those. Singing became an increasingly important part of the community energetic. And I found myself in a position that I needed to cultivate my voice, and I wanted to. I desired that. It came naturally. But then I did sit in a plant medicine ceremony, and that changed everything for me. I really awakened something that had been dormant for most of my life, and that was the musicality of the spirit. And one of the things I love to do, and I feel like is my purpose to do in service to spirit and to our community, is create sacred space and offerings for people to feel safe, to feel encouraged, invited to empower their voices and empower their own understanding of themselves in the sanctuary of community in a way that maybe teaches them that they're actually stronger than they think, and they're more capable than they feel, and they are perhaps leaders without ever having set out to be so. They say that a leader, a true leader, that is, doesn't seek out to be a leader. And I've always really loved that because I just briefly want to mention that the work I've been doing has grown a lot recently. And there has been times of like this imposter syndrome. I'm sure you've experienced that, doing all the stuff you do. But what it really brings it back home is we have each other. We do have each other to remind ourselves that we're all just playing our part. We're all just leading each other home to that at-homeness within. And that we all are leaders in our own right. It's just in what context. And so the context that I really love, I find myself naturally leading, is like, circles, especially intimate containers where people can discover their authentic knowing. But I love also being a participant here at like the full moon jams and all the other things you do around here. I think that's equally important, that we all have these roles we play in the drama of life.
Absolutely.
We've been so grateful for your new moon ceremonies over the years, and it's more of this. The new moon is more of an inward time, and I think you hold such a very intimate, cozy womb space to really help us like express those emotions and talk about them, and be able to express them in a very vulnerable way, and be okay with that. so grateful for the space that you hold. And I know you're going to be performing at Bonnaroo.
Yes.
Exciting.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about Bonnaroo. It's a good lineup, so check it out. Get your tickets.
RabbitHoleStudios.org/festivals.
Coming up.
Buy your tickets right there. Maybe we can hear a little sample of a song you're going to perform.
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. And so, let's begin with Digna hija de la tierra, which is Spanish for I am a worthy woman of the earth, bringing us back home in alignment with Mother Nature and all her beauty and all her power. De la tierra, soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra, soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra, soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra. Hija del viento llevando el misterio, hija del fuego llena de historias, digna hija de la tierra, digna hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, 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 hija de la tierra. Hija del viento llevando el misterio, hija del fuego llena de historias, digna hija de la tierra, digna hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, 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 hija de la tierra. Hija del agua fluyendo el río, hija del viento llevando el misterio, hija del fuego llena de historia, digna hija de la tierra, digna hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra. Mujer digna, hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra. Hija del agua fluyendo al río, hija del viento llevando el misterio, hija del fuego llena de historia, digna hija de la tierra, digna hija de la tierra. Soy mujer digna, hija de la tierra.
so in alignment with the work that you do and just the love that you share with our community and the women in our community.
Wow, it's been such a great honor and a privilege to see you grow. Like when I first met you, I think all I knew is that you played cello.
And not a lot of people know that
And
about
not,
me.
yeah. And by the way, I'm actually in the market for a cello if you know where to find.
My instrument may not be what you're looking for. It's a little.
Oh, you still haven't sold it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Right, we'll talk about that later. I'm interested.
We can talk after the show.
All right. Meet you backstage.
And I would like to ask one more time what that song what was saying or what it was called. What was the intention of that song?
So the song we just sung is called Digna hija de la tierra, which is Spanish for I am a worthy woman of the earth, or I am a woman of the earth. The Spanish word diosa, which is like woman of the earth, is a great representation of the song. Just knowing that we truly embody Mother Nature. Especially as women, I think very.
You've also been hosting women's circles at your home as well, and helping just bring together women of Athens and this intention of kind of healing these generational wounds, you could say, from women when it comes to their voice, and sharing the journey that you have been on of really expressing your voice in song. And wow, like it's just so beautiful to hear your voice.
Thank you. And I like how you highlighted just that the women's circles, like very much part of the purpose is to empower women to raise their voices in a way that feels authentic and true and open and powerful in ways that they perhaps haven't experienced. I myself, just a little bit about my story, I didn't discover my voice till adulthood. I didn't know I could sing at all. I barely sang when I was a child. And it really came to me in ceremony in 2019, 2020. That's when I started to really discover my voice. So I believe that there's a reason for that, that my story is a testament that everyone has a voice that is meant to be heard and activated in their lifetimes.
So beautiful. We're so grateful for the space that you hold for the women in our community.
Thank you.
I feel like we really share that passion for inspiring others and encouraging them to find their voice and to feel comfortable to participate. Something that I've always struggled with is like in the traditional live show environment, right? It's very exclusive, all right? The stage is like you're here to see the artist rather than like participate and commune with them. And I think something that Rabbit Hole and you might agree with this as well is that we really try to prioritize that open nature, which is participatory and inviting and safe for all people, which is I think why Kirtan is something we really enjoy. Is like it's the boundary between audience and performer dissolves, and you're really sharing, you're all a part of the band. That's like kind of the White Rabbit Collective. It's very much an open platform. We've had dozens of members in and out throughout the years. It's like whoever shows up and wants to participate. And
the word that comes to mind is inclusive.
Yeah, that's it. Inclusivity. Because there's so many bands, like friends of mine, who it's like, man, I really want to jam with them. I want to participate with them and co-create with them. But I think there's too much of an emphasis, I think, in modern artistic culture of like exclusivity, where it's like, very much
the performers and the watchers.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
Very
think there's a lot of
ego-driven.
encouragement here to participate and not just come and we don't just want people to come and listen to our music. We like encourage people
Right.
to follow that intuition that guides them to make these beautiful creations together.
Expression is our inner nature. We're all creative beings, and I see that. I love that we do share that passion of the inclusivity and just helping people unlock their gifts
Yeah.
in ways that are really fun
Totally.
and quite safe.
Right.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more spaces like that. We're co-creating them together.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so beautiful receiving that encouragement and then wanting to share that as well.
Mhm.
As we learn, we want to share what we've learned.
I have to say, one thing I'm really excited about is Bunaroo.
Bunaroo.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will be playing at Bunaroo.
That's right. If you'd like to buy tickets, you can go on our website. There's a little tab that says festivals, and you'll be able to.
Yeah, Bunner is going to be our 2-day festival during the summer solstice. So it'll be June 20th and the 21st. We have full day lineup both days and have lots of vendors and garden games and just lots of fun stuff going on. Yeah. So we also have our full moon coming up where we have been co-creating music and recording it lately and putting it on our NFT blockchain. And I was wondering if you would be participating, if that's something you would be interested in and being a part of.
It is actually, yes. I would love to. I have not been to one yet, but yeah, I'm actually available this time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We look forward to co-creating with you. Last time we had a nice fire pit going, and we were playing a lot of folk music outside, and just like 30 people singing together. It was magical.
Y'all are doing magical work here.
And we would love to just, even we are encouraging co-creation, but also just supporting any artists that have a vision and songs that you have created, because I know you've written a lot and shared with us, but being able to come here and we can record it for you, mix it for you, and put it on the blockchain. And if there's any other instruments you would want anyone to be a part of on your song that you have a vision for, that's also what we're wanting to support and just provide these resources and connections. Yeah.
And y'all shine in that way, just providing resources and venue space for the community, like no other, really. And it's so affordable and so accessible. And for that, I'm so appreciative for musical artists like myself. The kind of music I do, I don't want to be performing at the Georgia Theater quite yet.
Right.
I like intimate spaces, like grassroots spaces,
Totally.
and that's why Rabbit Hole feels like home.
Yeah, Rabbit Hole actually, before it was called Rabbit Hole Studios, it was, it started out as White Rabbit Productions, which was just in my bedroom. I had a little studio, I had a bunch of instruments. Then I started doing the full moon jams, where I would just invite a bunch of friends to have a jam session on the full moon. So it's always, from its roots, it's been a homey place, which I think the house party scene and the house shows, like, that's really where we enjoy playing the most, because it's not some elevated stage where it's like you're separate from the performer, but it's very homey. It's like you're just you're on an equal playing field, and you're just eye to eye.
And I feel like that kind of music making is definitely more engaging for the audience, where they're no longer the audience. They are just as important to what's being created as the so-called performers, the instruments.
Right.
And in my experience leading musical circles as well, it's often encourage people who don't try an instrument to pick up an instrument in that moment, spontaneity.
Yeah.
And that's like where the magic is created. That can change someone's life, like coming to an event like at Rabbit Hole or a singing circle, and they just start feeling that high energy, and they're unleashing their voice, and they pick up a drum or they pick up a rattle, and they're like, wow, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then their whole life is changed in that moment.
Yeah. It is something like there's this primal joy to music, and I think if there are people out there listening who don't know what I'm talking about, I just plead with you to search this out, because there's this ecstatic bliss that is indescribable, a feeling of when you're in alignment. Like I often feel this on the full moon jam, where it's like the most unexpected things just emerge from the nothingness, like unplanned, unarranged, just this cosmic. It's like the universe itself. Somehow order emerges, beauty emerges from this chaos, from disorder, from nothingness, and it is the most inspiring thing to me. Like that feeling of ecstatic bliss, of union with others, and understanding. Like there's emotions and there's ideas and feelings that you can't express with words, that demand movement and sound, rhythm and music. Like that's why humans, I think, are so unique, is that we've turned to music to express the unexpressible, to be acquainted with the ecstatic bliss that that's what we're all here to do and to feel.
And what I've also been, that brings me to a thought I had earlier today, is that the same word sung can penetrate deeper into the heart of another human being than if you just spoke.
Absolutely. Yep.
And there's power to that.
Totally. Yeah, that's like one of the most, I haven't even touched on that, is like the power of storytelling through songs. Like putting a story to a song virtually guarantees it will be remembered. People will sing along to it. Yeah.
And there's this somewhat, vulnerability in these deep expressions that are being shared through creativity, and there's this sort of relation, to someone coming up and being vulnerable about these feelings or expressing these things that are really hard to talk about. And so a lot of times people singing or expressing this deep emotion that I am still, figuring out within me, I see them comfortable to express it, and it's like, just this relating to these deep feelings that we all have, and feeling this union between the person who's expressing so deeply. Feeling not as alone in that feeling. That's really a gift that I've been given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the music brings us into community. Ways that transcend our understanding.
Yeah, for sure. They're almost inseparable. Art and music, without community, mean nothing.
Right.
If there is no reflection, no one to witness it or participate with you in that art form or in that experience, what's the point of expressing art, right?
And on that note, I will say, from my own personal experience with music, the joy of doing it with others is so much. It's a totally different beast than just playing alone at home. Right. Although that can be a very meditative experience, just communing with source or God or spirit, whatever you want to call the great cosmic creator force, it's when we're together that energy is amplified.
Yeah,
Like thousands.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah,
The
it's
greatest growth happens.
yeah. It feels like a sum that's more than its parts.
Mhm.
I come back to that a
Oh,
lot.
I like
Like when we're together, we're somehow more
Mm-hmm.
than just each individual.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a co-creation of something bigger than ourselves. And I wanted to touch on your comment about both of you talking about how these songs are vessels of emotion and meaning and human experience. And I think there's this like beautiful crossover with like how if you want to get a message across, tell a story, express a feeling or an experience of this human condition, by putting it like into this song, you know, you're creating this like maybe it's a time capsule where it's like, you know, these songs live on for generations.
They're
Like
timeless.
they're timeless, especially if people really enjoy them and they listen to them and share them. These are like memes that spread
Yeah,
throughout
it's
society.
like these experiences.
It's how you tell your story in a way that it's like, what's the quote I'm thinking about? It's like a life hasn't been lived unless the story's been told.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. That is
And art,
one of
music
the biggest
is how the
things
stories
we
are
leave
told.
behind is our stories and our imprint, our art, our experience. And there's this crossover with, I think why we're so interested in NFTs is like you can create any kind of digital artwork, media, storytelling, video, songs, and it's minted forever. It like almost makes it, I want to say eternal, but let's just say as old as for as long as the sun shines and humanity exists. Like
And the internet's
blockchain,
alive.
yeah, right. That's it gives an almost infinite potential for your art to transcend time, for your story and your experience. Um, just like putting your story into a song extends its lifetime and its you know the witnesses who will hear or see your art. It's just I think we're all here to create works of art that transcend time, and we're using all the tools available to us to really spread this message of love and of compassion, of oneness. You know, this common understanding of our humanity and our shared experience and how miraculous it is, how beautiful it is. This pursuit of beauty is what brings us all together, and it's just amplified. You know, I have a lot of reverence for the aesthetic, you know, but I think I don't know if I could ever do that because for me, all of this joy and fulfillment that I get is through integrating with communities and having reflections of myself to share this wild ride with.
We are truly reflections.
Yeah.
So I feel that I mean I would not be writing the songs of my experience the way I have without this community. Because this community has taught me these lessons and given me these stories to translate into the medium of songs in a way that makes it shareable and joyous and can be ecstatic.
Because
And-
we're able to share these experiences with our community.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I think that's a big, touching on what Nick said, just creating these experiences to share with one another, to see different parts of ourselves, to understand what we're doing here and why we're here. Just being able to relate to each other's experience I think is really important in co-creating. These individual creations we're able to experience together instead of feeling so alone in our experience.
And one thing I really honor about what you do here at Rabbit Hole that reflects something I value too is having a space that is structured, but like there's looseness too.
Right.
But there is a structure.
For sure.
It is a container, a space, a circle, a ceremony that puts people in an intentional place.
Yeah.
They know what kind of experience they're coming for.
For sure.
They get that experience. They go home and they got what was promised.
Yes.
But there's an element of looseness that allows for them to just kind of go with the flow,
Right.
contribute what they will, but with that structure as well.
Yeah, I love that, and I've often struggled with that, with these two parts of myself, my need for order, and you know, predictability, and then my need for freedom and chaos. Like I think we all have both of those needs within us, and it is this careful balance, really, of creating a space that is orderly and has some plans and regularity. Like we have all these weekly events. Yeah. In fact, you could argue we're very orderly, despite our
as a space holder, you must.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's kind of like planning for the unplanned, like making space for the unboxable.
Exactly.
You know? Totally, yeah.
And trusting along the boundaries.
Making time for the time.
To experience being boundless.
Yeah. It's very like here we are.
I know. I was just about to say that. Like we're always talking about duality and finding that balance, that middle path in almost every aspect of life. But it becomes really present in the Tao because we're trying to find the best ways to go about community and communication and how to govern and how to share and what's equal. But I want to hear what you were going to say.
Well, one of the first books that really got me into philosophy as it relates to community, I think it was called The Tao of Symbols. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite books ever. It's got a lot of ancient stories, like they kind of are tying together all these ancient myths, how they're using symbols to, once again, convey meaning and have it transcend time, convey lessons and teachings and values. And I just remember that was the first time in my mind where I was able to break out of the dualistic framework of like this or that, one or zero, good or evil, like very polarized in my perspective without I think Eastern philosophies, Taoism in particular, really helps us to make peace with the irrational, right? The intuitive part of ourselves, like the part of our mind and our humanity that can't be put into a box, right? That isn't just one or zero. It's like it's both or neither. It's like recognizing chaos and disorder as one single.
It's like we're as two as.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it feels very illogical of like, oh, this doesn't add up. Like, but there's also this peace that comes with an understanding of how things are resolved through this third principle, this middle way, middle door, whatever we want to call it. But it's this union of opposites, really. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we were really passionate about decentralization, and then really diving deep into it, we're seeing more of how it is this balance of what we want things to be centralized and decentralized.
Right.
I see it a lot in many conversations that we have now. We get
I think, yeah, it's just so funny to me. Decentralized autonomous organizations just happen to have the same anagram as this ancient philosophy that is so purely encompasses the intention behind it, you know, this almost headless autonomy, right? That's kind of my, at least in my spiritual perspective, this universe is almost like a headless divine being where there is no singular head where we can say, oh, there's God right there.
It's
there
like
he
that
is.
meme.
Like,
Have you seen the meme of the hand and there's like the ground and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
little finger people
Yes.
and it's like this is God, this is everyone,
Yes,
you know.
yeah, that's so it.
Yeah,
Like,
we're just
everything's
little
God.
fingertips, you know,
Yeah.
of God's hand, right?
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
Expressing different elements, different themes, different phases, cycles,
Precisely. Yeah.
mirroring each other all the while.
The divine consciousness experiencing itself, you know, through every conceivable perspective. You
Yes.
know?
And that's why
That's-
I do think it is important in that regard to find people that you have energetic harmony with and resonance, because we are reflections of one another. If you're around people who trigger you or people who challenge you in a way that is very makes you feel like you can't express yourself truly, then you're going to hold back. It's just natural energetics. Like if someone is more outwardly aggressive, then you're going to withdraw. So that's why I really do appreciate this community here, because I feel like everyone here has that same mission of energetic resonance, harmonization, and acceptance. Everyone wants to be on the page of unconditional love.
Yeah. For
It
sure.
is evident.
Yeah. Yeah, and that touches on, like, there's a skill as a musician. It is like listening and truly harmonizing with who you're playing with. It's like just as much attention to your own instrument or your voice as it is listening. It's very much two things at once,
Yes.
like yin and yang, self and other. It is finding this place of union between you, you know, where that ecstatic bliss bubbles up when you really
That's the
learn to integrate with others, learn to listen, learn to communicate autonomously, you know, without you know, just it bubbles up, you know, when you have these spaces to freely express and collaborate. And just beautiful things come up, just like
Yeah.
these beautiful flowers.
That makes me think a lot about just us coming together as one, and how we learn to communicate, and how we're learning to really listen to one another and making these decisions and receiving other perceptions instead of just really holding on to our own. And, yeah, just being welcoming of other people's experiences and their stories and their ways, their decisions, their choices that they want to make, and taking that into consideration and our own decision making, trying to see, like we were saying, the universe experiencing itself through many perceptions. I think this dance of receiving these other perceptions and factoring them all in to find that middle path, that resonance, that
Giving
That's ever
is-
expansive.
Yeah, I like what you're getting at there, where it's like it's not just about expressing; it's about receiving. Those have to be in equal
Inviting
alignment.
it.
Yeah, because I've definitely met like a
giving,
lot of the
receiving
people,
love.
right? For sure. And I've noticed this in some of the full moon jams. Is like people who maybe are new to it or aren't used to jamming with others sometimes have trouble, and you can kind of tell that maybe they're not listening. They're really focused on what they're playing, or maybe they're soloing, or you know they're you know, not devoting as much attention to listening and integrating as they are expressing and composing.
Well, I do think that's a byproduct of the culture we live in.
Totally. Yeah.
Really,
for sure.
in America, we live in a very individually focused
Right.
society. It's like pull yourself up by the bootstraps, you know, do it all yourself.
Yep.
kind of mentality. However, what I have truly learned is we cannot do this alone.
Yeah.
We're not meant to do it alone.
Yep.
It's a lot of this outward energy of like, doing a lot of like, go to work, you got to do this, you got to do this, make sure this is paid, and it's like a lot of stressors, a lot of anxiety, kind of used. And when there's too much of that masculine, you could say there's not enough of the feminine where we take time to sit, to receive love, to receive, messages from source, to listen to that music and feel, take it in. So I think it is more common for people to like be playing over and to not really be listening, or to like, when we're talking about communicating, really expressing their opinion, not really listening to the other. Back to me.
Some may view it as kind of a counterculture to have the space we've been talking about that we co-create here, where there's no division between performers and audience. It's like just one,
Right.
or there's very little division, or like the players on stage are harmonizing rather than like one soloist and then just players.
Right.
However, I wouldn't say it is a counterculture. I would say it's really going back to the roots.
It's true culture.
Yeah,
right?
it's going back to like tribal.
Yeah.
The tribal ways of being.
Exactly.
And honestly, the way our biology is designed, we are designed to operate in a more tribal way.
Right.
Like truly, our energy, like we have sympathetic resonance energetically when we're in proximity with people who love us. It's really good for our chemicals in our brain, the serotonin, oxytocin.
It is a human need.
Yeah, I heard someone say we needed like 26 hugs a day.
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
Where else can you get 26 hugs a day but rabbit holes?
That's right. Come on over. Yeah.
How many hugs do you think you get a day?
Oh man. On an average day, like between 5 and 10.
That's really good.
And then on the days we have events, like 20 to 30 hugs, like easily.
But so many people don't even get one hug.
I know.
That's become the norm.
Yeah.
But here we are, creating
Bringing
these
hugs
space-
back.
Bringing hugs back.
Yes.
Hug.
Hey.
Hey. I'm melting.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me on to this.
Thank you. Where can we find you on social media? How can we follow along with your life journey?
Absolutely. So right now, I am currently focusing very much on my music and also collaboration. I will be joining other artists as well in the community. I would say the best way to follow the offerings, such as performances with kirtanic static voice, as well as moon cacao ceremonies at Let It Be Yoga, and we've also got hot base ceremonies that will be coming up, TBD. That would be on at the Radha Rose on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. Yeah.
Yay.
That would be the way to do it.
Thank you so much. This was just such a great time to spend with you, and really kind of looking back on our journey together thus far, and just looking forward to hearing you and the music that you create. Just us supporting one another.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for tuning in today to the Rabbit Hole Studios podcast. Please check out our website, rabbitholestudios.org. There's a wealth of information and content and media, NFTs for sale if you want to support the artists and donate to our DAO. All that money is returned to the artists and to
And you
the
get a free
space.
ticket to our festival.
Yeah,
Fun
all
around.
holders
Yeah.
of these NFT artworks, get free entry to our festivals. There's even a private Discord if you want to chat with us, and um, maybe consider donating. Getting one of our monthly membership options. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.